Welcome back, Divine Feminine. We are here to do your weekly update for your twin flame path. Yes, you can get these out in the members, and make sure to check our new videos coming through. We do have drops weekly, and our next update will be your romance zone. So come through and join us for that. Now, let's take a look. And I tell you, it's almost this notion this week where Divine Feminine is trying to be optimistic. But there is this pessimism that's coming through. And particularly it could be because of 3D circumstance playing out. Some of you may have felt this energy last week. Others of you, you're just moving into it. I do feel particularly you're looking at life at this point in time. And you're almost like, okay, are impossible things possible? And I feel psychologically, some of you could have a grand surprise, and there can be these dreams of the past that are coming through. And, in a myriad of ways, particularly in this twin flame path, it could be you feel a little bit disillusioned relating to the path. And I feel you're particularly moving into that self-love energy. Some of you could be super strict on yourself, really, in this head and heart space. It's almost like you're looking at it and saying, is this affecting my health? How am I caring for myself? Do I have the confidence? And I don't think this situation is to do with you having confidence. I do particularly feel it's taken quite a toll. And some of you are just saying to yourself, look, I'm doing what I need to care for myself, to love for myself. I'm giving it to Gaia. There can also be this question mark on sight, on the head of twin flame path, especially where it does relate to the ascension process and what the underlying tone is relating to your twin flame path. And that can come through based on uncertainty. It can be coming through based on disillusionment, so to speak, which is quite common and quite normal. Nevertheless, I do particularly feel for some of you, you're almost like waiting for the moment to hear communication, and really thinking to yourself, if that was to come through, how would you directly relate to it? And it's almost this baffled notion that Divine Feminine with the crowning energy is looking at Divine Masculine, almost like, are you joking? That was really what I wanted to call this video. You're joking, right? It's like, because I do really feel Divine Feminine looking at this circumstance saying in the real 3D world this has been difficult. This has been a huge ascension process. And, when we go into the divine timing, I feel Divine Feminine here in the mix in the second row is really saying, in a judgment sense, what am I doing with my life? Where is this going? And really it is based on the fact that a soldier, Divine Masculine, maybe not realizing your worth. So sometimes it can come through in your aura that you feel you're not, honoring your own worth because this person is mistreating you in some shape or form, or the image of how you thought this twin flame path would go, it hasn't quite come to fruition in the way you felt it would. And so there's a little bit of peeviness coming up. I feel you're letting go of your fears. You're trying not to allow them to define you. But some of you are thinking, do I let go of this circumstance and move forward? Do I need to liberate myself? And I don't know why I'm hearing self-preservation. There is a little bit of self-preservation coming through this week. Yeah. I do feel flighty energy. So for some of you, it can be just very matter of fact. For some of you, you do have a set kind of benchmark of, when you would pull a pin on a circumstance. It could be if somebody gets married. It might be if they move in together. It could be if they have children. And I think some of you have felt, why can't you have those things? Why were they given to other people? Why in your hopes and dreams, in pinning hope to this situation, has it gone that way? And I do feel there's a bit of shadow work going on. Some of you are feeling spiritually, you're kind of darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. And there is that element of uncertainty in it, especially surrounding a karmic situation, I do believe. Some of you are turning the tides in your favor. You're turning wounds into alchemy. And it's almost like, okay, well, equally as I can feel these things, yes, counterpart can too. So I do feel some of you are taking a very firm and stern approach. And I do feel this is actually swinging the situation in your favor. Yeah, it's actually got this person up in the head questioning. And I think it's because you're taking on a different approach. I don't think they're going to quite recognize who you are. Some of you could be ghosting this individual. Look, it doesn't have to be intentional. It could be that your schedule is so flat out that you're unable to communicate. For those of you in communication, some of you do have two paths, and it's because you have options, which we all do have options in theory. We really do. You're having this revelation of such is actually keeping this person on their toes. And I'm hearing the term you snooze, you lose. Yeah. Yeah, some of you are taking on a very serious approach with your life. It can be with your image, it can be with your success, what you're wanting to achieve this year. It's very determined. It's very also determined that you don't want to be in a lower vibe this year. Although you do know this person is your hope and dream, you want them to actually mirror, and you're requiring consistency, or all you're hearing in your mind is could it be the Pisces energy? It could be. All you're hearing is a mirage and not an actual reality-based situation. Yeah, so you're being very realistic this week. I do feel you're going to be super busy. Some of you are trying to hold it together. I'm hearing at the heart of it. I do feel a friend is being approached. I feel be careful who you're talking to. Make sure to put a positive kind of vibe out there so that if this person is sifting for information on you, there is a little bit of jealousy of a friend, and I don't know whom they're making reference to, but there is an insecurity to do with a friend linked to divine feminine. They almost feel this person is your person. I'm hearing two's company, three's a crowd. So like I said, whatever this is, whatever's triggering this energy, you're taking a new attitude on this week, and I do feel it's resulting in a different outcome. I feel there's a bit of a standoff between two people here. And this can create some uncertainty, but I think it's happening on divine masculine side. I don't think it's on yours. Some of you do feel if you were to move forward, and I feel especially if there is particularly options for you that you're addressing, there's a little bit of concern in your mind. Some of you also can be thinking, gee, if I move into another connection, is this person going to come back and, how would I be inside that circumstance? Would I stay? Would I go? And, some of you are just trusting your instincts and saying, well, if I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, didn't like it, I think I'm going to remain in my lane, practice that self-love, and just gauge each day where I'm at. Some of you are going in where angels fear to tread, and there could be a notion that you need to just tread carefully and really take some time to make that judgment. Yeah. You're definitely looking at, does it feel like a karmic test? Yes, but no. Just make sure you know what you're getting into, because I do particularly feel a lot of you are stepping up in a way that divine masculine has never seen you before. Some of them are actually stalking you, and they're deeply impressed. They're a little bit insecure to do with it. There's a bit of insecurity. Hmm. Yeah, there is a blockage almost feeling like there's no choice in this. We can feel that way in a twin flame path. It's like, looking at the twin flame path as a curse. It was quite funny. Last week I saw a post on Instagram and it was to do with the twin flame path. And everything that was written about twin flame path was, best intimate mate, best friend, partner in crime, and it was all this stuff. And I asked the question. I was like, yeah, usually we're living on fumes. At a point in our journey. Yes, it can be those things, and yes, in intervals we can experience those dynamics. But generally speaking, it comes with the hard work that we do. So many of you that are more what we would deem the geriatrics of the journey that have had well and truly a 101 of it, know done on it that healing is not a choice. It's part of the ascension process. And yes, in life we do have uncertainty, but we have that equally with soulmates as we do with twin flames. And as we break these patterns, we can attract new. I do particularly feel you could have a real huge shift this week, and it can go from a little bit of murky waters to very, very optimistic and feeling very centered within yourself. And I feel if you can challenge those shadow fears, you're coming out the other side. You may yourself be surprised at how much you have ascended, how much you have transformed. And I just get this real boss up energy coming up. I definitely feel you're requiring this person to give you a bit more certainty than what they had been in the past, because it has been a little bit like clockwork up in your head. And you're really getting, quite frankly, tired of doing that because it is affecting you and you don't want to be paranoid. Sometimes we can be to the point where we're questioning, are we being ascended? Are we being codependent? And sometimes we are, frankly, able to ask these questions. So some of you can actually feel this week, no, darn on it, I'm going to address these things. When the communication comes in, I will be addressing it and we will go from there. Take care, beautifuls. Make sure to come through and see your mid-month romance sign. We do drop content weekly. And if you do want a private booking or this content at a time, all the information is directly below. Take care and I'll see you during the week.